The story that you are about to hear is a compilation of documented true facts, featuring characters, events, or places that has played a role in shaping history. Please sit back and listen as I recite this narrative for you. On the morning of January 4, 2013, after 9 a.m., Ronald Baquiran Bae committed the Kawit mass murder shooting in barangay Tabon 1 in Kawit, Philippines, killing at least 7 people and a dog and wounding 12 other people with a semi-automatic pistol before he was shot and killed by police. Another man, John Paul Lopez, 27 years old, said to be the house caretaker for Bae, was later arrested for reloading Bae's pistol magazine during the mass shooting. After 9 a.m. on January 4, 2013, Bae and Lopez entered the store and asked the 3 Kaimol children, one of them being his godchild, Ken Cedric Kaimol, for the whereabouts of a man named Berto. When they informed him that he wasn't there, Bae drew a .45 caliber Colt 1911 and shot at the children, killing 7-year-old Micaela and seriously wounding her brother and sister. Bae and Lopez then exited the store and went running down the street. Bae was firing at anyone who crossed their paths, while Lopez reloaded his gun when he ran out of rounds. Thus, he first killed Alberto Fernandez, 55 years old, and his dog, who were standing on the porch, and then a pregnant woman named Rhea de Vera, 34 years old, as well as her 3-year-old daughter, John Monica. With a shot through her stomach, her 6-month-old fetus also died. Also killed was Taho vendor Aldorio, 20 years old, while his brother Antonio, 15 years old, was wounded with a shot in the back. Other victims were Irene Fonelas, 40 years old, and Boyet Toledo, 44 years old. Among those wounded were baby Anolacion, 33 years old, Emelinda Aquipel, 41 years old, Enrique Aquipel, Cheveri Haminal Asen, Jemerlin Asen, 46 years old, Dovi Cabrera, 66 years old, Ken Cedric Kaimol, 3 years old, Michelle Kaimol, 2 years old, Ricky Diola Dumip-Ig, 17 years old, Antonio Dorio, Maricel Pahal, 27 years old, Raul Ravelo, 73 years old, and Kevin Magarago Valiada, 6 years old. After that, Bae returned to his home, where police soon arrived and urged him to surrender, though the gunman began shooting at cops and was killed when the police returned fire. The shooting had taken roughly 30 minutes in all. During the shooting, Lopez disappeared and a reward of 100,000 pesos was offered for any information that would lead to his arrest, but he was eventually turned over to the authorities by his relatives that same evening. In an interview at the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, or CIDG headquarters, in Imus City, Lopez claimed he had acted under duress as Bae threatened to kill him if he did not reload the gun for him. He stated that the gunman did not fire the last bullet on the gun and used it to threaten Lopez. The authorities, however, did not buy his alibi and charged Lopez with multiple murder and frustrated murder for his willful participation in the crime. According to Lopez, Bae had already killed people in the past years and buried the remains around his house. Police searched the area and discovered one skeletal remains of a person that Lopez identified as Chudolo Villanueva, Bae's former helper, who was last seen alive with Bae in 2004. Villanueva and Bae allegedly fought over illegal drug dealings. Ronald Baquiran Bae was born on November 9, 1971. His father, Rodolfo Bae, was a former police chief of Imus, Cavite. He was the middle child among 5 siblings. Bae was also a former member of the village council until he lost his bid to be the village chief of Tabon 1 in 2010. According to their neighbors in Cavite and in Pampanga, Bae was once a good neighbor. One neighbor even stated that they didn't see anything bad about him and that he was nice to talk to. Others also stated that he was a good guy, even helping them out when they had nothing to eat. Bae was married to Maria Elena Bae in 2008 and have 5 children together. Bae had 2 other children from his first marriage. According to his wife, he was a good man and a father until he started using drugs again. When authorities raided Bae's residence shortly after the shooting, they recovered 3.3 grams of shabu and found a .45 caliber pistol, an AK-47, and an M16 rifle. Though she denied that Bae sold drugs, she did admit that Bae used shabu or methamphetamine hydrochloride. Elena and Bae's mother, Tomasa, said that he earned a living buying and selling used cars and breeding game cocks. Bae bred cocks in a farm in Noveleta, Cavite, and also owned a small poultry farm right across his house in Tabon 1. He also had a rest house in Tagaytay City, Cavite. Police were unable to find a clear background of Ronald Bae's wealth and influence in Cavite and Pampanga. One thing the police are sure of is that Ronald Bae was granted licenses to several high-caliber firearms. He had licenses for a .45 caliber pistol and for 2 assault rifles, an M16 and an AK-47, according to Senior Superintendent Alexander Rafael, officer in charge of the Cavite Provincial Police Office. But the police are still clueless as to why or how Bae was issued such weapons. In an interview at Bae's wake in Imus City, Elena said she never thought her husband would end up killing people. Though they had fights and he sometimes hit her, her husband never aimed his gun at her, she added. But she admitted that there were instances when Bae acted strangely, something that she blamed on the effects of drugs. She stated that she would see him talking to himself and sometimes his eyes would roll upward. She added that once she saw Bae talking to a wall in their house and saying things like, "I am the devil." He also said he saw shadows peering at him, Elena recalled. The couple had a big fight on December 30. Elena said Lopez came to visit them in Pampanga and that he and Bae had drank heavily and used drugs. Elena stated that Bae was jealous of John Paul. Then Bae started hitting her on the head. When it looked like he was about to draw his gun, Elena collected their children and barricaded themselves in a room. They stayed there until Bae and Lopez left. As to what triggered his shooting rampage last January 4, investigators are quite certain his use of illegal drugs was one factor. According to Lopez, his drug use was due to the discovery that he was adopted on September 4 and that he wanted to find his real father. According to Elena, her husband started using drugs when he started having problems with his family. At one point, Bae kept saying that he was so tired, making her think that he may be suicidal. The Kawit mass shooting has been compared with the December 17 murder of 20 school children at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. The Cavite incident happened shortly after the death of 7-year-old Stephanie Nicole Ella from celebratory gunfire on New Year's Eve, prompting President Aquino to order a crackdown on unlicensed firearms. In his death, Ronald Baquiran Bae took with him his motive for the massacre and will forever remain a mystery.
Hi, this is Twisted Mind. Quick question for you. Do you like reading romantic stories? If so, in the description box below is a link to an app called Dreame that features a writer under the pseudonym of Annabel Lee. Please click and follow her. Thank you.
Hey everyone! I just wanted to express how grateful I am that you took the time to listen to my narration. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I am Twisted Mind and please enjoy the rest of your day. Salamat!